Good morning, dear colleagues. A very warm welcome to all of you. And good morning to you, Mr. Sharma and Mr. Madhavdas.
Morning.
Morning.
Today, the 4th of July, is a very important day here at L&T. It is our founder, Henning Larsen's birthday. It is also the day when we celebrate Safety Day. It begins usually with a message from the chairman, which has happened this year also. We work for this incredible organization, an institution that is known for excellence in whatever we do. We are the gold standard for project management, for our training programs, and for our leadership capability and bandwidth. But there is one thing that has got our leadership concerned, and that is the number of safety incidents have been rising. We have two of our senior most leaders here with us, Mr. Sharma and Mr. T. Madhavdas, who will delve deep into the various aspects of safety and why that is absolutely non-negotiable. Without any further ado, I would welcome once again SS and TMD to our first safety dialogue. My first question goes to you, SS.
Yeah.
At L&T, every new year begins with Safety Month in January. We request you to enlighten us on the significance of L&T Safety Day on the 4th of July.
Yeah, thank you, Sumit, and good morning to all my colleagues, everyone who has hooked up from various places. Thank you for joining. I think it's a very important dialogue we are having today. Sumit, like you said in the introduction, your introduction, 4th July is the day we commemorate for our co-founder's birthday. I mean, at Hawk Larsen's birthday. And as far as I know, he was a great believer in safety and great believer of good safety practices. And that was in the time when safety and safety practices were not that pronounced or not was so much talked about. So he was much ahead of his time, when he started this organization. And he cared for the people who work for him, and he cared for the families. And he wanted to build a culture which is last over the decades, and some organization which is very caring. So I think it's the least we can do. I mean, for someone who has been ahead of his time, who pioneered this whole safety culture in the organization, for which we should be very thankful to him for that, is to do commemorate his safety day along with his birthday and birth anniversary, and that's what we are doing. I think it's a good sort of reminder to all of us. I mean, of course, we keep talking about safety in every meeting, every discussion, but it becomes a sort of a very important day to remind ourselves of the pledge we make and the commitments we have towards the safety and the values we share, and to keep promoting that and pushing that forward. I think that's the significance of it. And maybe Madhav, you want to add something?
Thank you, SS, and a very good morning to all my colleagues who have joined on this very, very important day in the history of Larsen and Toubro. I think this is to honor our founding father, and this is something which I think when you select a day, what is the whole idea behind it? It is to rally people around. And why are we rallying around? Something which is very critical to this organization, Mission Zero Harm. And hence we use this to rally the people around a theme which will motivate all us to keep going ahead. And I think if you remember, I think our founder had a very profound statement made. Machinery may be there, factories may be available, but people are our only assets. And when we say people, we have to take care of these people. And this safety day makes it critical for us to remind us that each one of us is accountable, responsible for not only ourselves, but for the whole environment in which we are working, the people who work with us. And hence, this is a day where we have specific themes, and this brings an uniform safety culture across the organization. We are such a conglomerate spread over so many places. And this becomes a rallying point for us to say that safety is an non-negotiable item for this organization. So hence we use this day to re-emphasize this across the organization. Sumit.
Yeah.
So, SS, the theme of L&T Safety Day 2025 is
Yeah.
live up to your EHS pledge. What does this signify?
Yeah, so I think, see, we all keep saying in our business also that uh, what we say we should do, as simple as that. I mean, there is also a kind of a very nice way of describing that say do factor. I mean, how much of you say how much and how much you do. I mean, so actually, ideally it should be one. I mean, if it can be more than one, it is even better. And I think that goes even for the safety. I mean, I think we keep sensitizing the people with different messages, etc., etc. But we have a very nice pledge. I mean, I think it encompasses everything what we stand for. I mean, we say that we will do everything possible to prevent incidents, prevent accidents, for the protection of myself, protection of my family, protection of the community, for the protection of the organization. I mean, there are so strong words, profound words, I mean, just to steal the word from Madhav, and so powerful. And I think that's so integral part of our value system. And I think we should. And all that I'm saying is that we don't want to go anywhere else. I mean, you have making the pledge. Everyone is making the pledge. We stand up every day in the meetings and take that pledge. So just live up to that. As simple as that. I mean, and I think you'll find the answer. How to live up to that, you will find the answer. As an organization, we are providing everything what is required in terms of resources, tools, technology, and whatever support is required will come from the leadership team. There's no doubt about that. All that you need to do is to live up to that pledge. I mean, so I'm trying to make it very simple. I think you make a pledge, live up to it. And if you live up to it, I think the life is going to be beautiful for everyone, not just for you, but for your colleagues and for your peers and the whole community. I mean, let's go for it.
Sure. Um, TMD, I have a question for you. We are now in the process of developing our Lakshya 31 plan for the group. Where does EHS figure in this plan? How important is it for us to live up to the expectation?
See, living up to expectations means, what do you mean? It involves reflections, it involves a lot of bold actions to be taken. Now, in the area of performance, we have taken some bold actions. We have decided that we will look at timeliness, timely completion, and workforce productivity as two critical enablers. But these two things can totally get derailed if EHS is not there, because EHS is that super enabler. I'll call it the super app of Larsen and Toubro, because these EHS, if the environment, health, and safety is ignored, timely completion will never take place, because you will be then stumbling across. Productivity will not take place because your workers are not going to be safe. And hence, to me, mission zero harm, the EHS is going to be the foundation which will ensure that Lakshya 31 takes place. Now, competition will not stop, but imagine if an accident happens at a site, one of the helmets is not there, an accident happens and harness grows broken, you have violated a cardinal rule, the work will come to a standstill. So it just derails the whole thing. To me, this becomes very, very important. And hence, if we have to be meeting our final Lakshya goals, if we ignore EHS, we are going to get totally derailed. And hence, this has to go into everyone's mind that if we have to become the organization which the world looks upon, where they can say that here is an organization which absolutely adheres to that mission zero harm and uses that as the basis for running this, their all operations. It will be the biggest thing we would be meeting in our Lakshya expectations. And going forward in the next 4 to 5 years in Lakshya, I think climate change is one more thing which I think we have to keep in mind, because this can lead to a lot of accidents, and hence we have to be strongly prepared for that also. Yes, I think you will have something more to add, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think, see, like I said, the safety is so integral and part of our value system. And anything to disconnect from safety doesn't work. I mean, it's okay. So I think we had phenomenal growth thanks to our previous leaders and current leaders. I think we continue to have good growth. We are creating value for the shareholders. And I also said in one of the Lakshya sessions that we are so proud of that. That L&T builds marvels. Yeah, I think some of the iconic projects. I mean, it gives goosebumps. I mean, the kind of projects we are building and the complexity. and we'll continue to do so. I mean, Lakshya 31 is a ambitious growth plan. I mean, we will have more marvels built. I mean, not just in India. We said that it should be now. We have a tagline, right? We make things which make India proud. We said now we should make things which will make the world proud. I mean, that is how our vision is getting much broader to not only do things for India but do it globally. But all these marvels, if we build and if it comes at the cost of lives, I mean, it's no more marvel. I mean, I think we have to be very clear. I mean, you can't use this word of marvel and take pride in it if it's coming at the cost of lives. That's why we say it is non-negotiable. We want to build this by keeping people safe, by keeping our people who are working for us, people who are working for the whole, our subcontractors and partners and the whole community. I mean, everyone has to be safe. Then it is really marvelous. So I think the definition of growth, definition of marvel has to be very, very understood. It cannot come when you have a fatality. I mean, nobody can take pride that I have a fatality, or if you have a serious incident and you say, I built something beautiful. No, you are not built beautiful, because you cannot come at the cost. I mean, I don't want to steal the phrase of what was used in Operation Sindoor, that water and blood cannot flow. I mean, it is something similar here. Pride and blood cannot flow together. As simple as that. We have to be very clear that it has to come in a very safe way. And even today, I think the investors and our stakeholders have also their expectation of growth. Nobody is expecting us to deliver a return on their investment or create value for them by not being safe. So that is very fundamental. I mean, they want to make profit. They want the organization to make profit. They want leadership to be judged based on not only how much profit they make, but how they make. I mean, what practices they follow, and are they really looking after the people? Are they really caring for the community in their work? I think this parametrics and metrics rather has completely changed. Not I mean, it was always part of us in value system, but even the external world is now looking at us very differently, which is a very good thing, I think, for the organization, for the people, and for the country, and we should sort of wholeheartedly support it.
So people have very high expectations from L&T, and on the scale of 1 to 10, this question goes out to both of you individually. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you place us in respect to EHS, and what should we do differently? SS, to you first, and TMD.
Yeah, I mean, see, I
Give me a
think,
number.
see,
Give me a number.
yeah, this is not first of all, I think this is not a performance appraisal system. Like, say, we should not be worried about if I give somebody 7 or you give somebody 6, what is the consequences. I think this whole rating in this case, the question you ask, has to be more objective based on where do I stand in terms of opportunity for me to improve. Okay, how much headroom I have, and whether I can improve multifold, I can improve just little incremental. I mean, that's the way I see it. So I think if I put the objective of I want to be the best in the world, I want to be the best in class, and I want to be not known just for my growth, but I want to also know the quality of growth in terms of how I deal with safety globally. Because if you want to become globally, there is no doubt that the safety will be judged as a very important aspect. I think we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. I don't think I would put ourselves. I don't want to be harsh on us, but at the same time, I don't want to overrate ourselves. I will put ourselves somewhere around 5. I mean, if you have to put a number, but I think we have a long way to go.
TMD, you.
I think what SS just told, I think let me re-emphasize again. We have very long way to go. I think this is something which all of us have been introspecting and have been debating at so many forums, that we have a huge headroom. We have a lot of things to improve across the organization. And as he said, I think even 6 is a large number to be given, saying that we are there. I think if we are to be called as leaders in this profession, I think each one of us should feel that pinch, saying that safety is something which is non-negotiable. We just cannot give it. I think let me also put it this way. If you have seen our CRISIL ESG score, L&T has scored 62, LTT has 69, LTF 70, LTI Mindtree scores 73. We, as a predominantly engineering and construction, we have scored strongly, but our score has come down because I am very sure that there must have been a deflator to our safety record. I think it gets reflected. Even though we can feel proud that we have done it well, no. We as an organization should set our own standards and ensure that we really work towards it. And hence, I think we have a long, long way to go. And this is the very purpose of all of us gathering here today, trying to put this thing across is to make everybody feel that, yes, we have a golden opportunity. We have an opportunity in our hand to improve. Feel that, yes, we have done something to make the standards much of gold standards. I think we should be setting that gold standard. Let me put it that way. So we have a long way to go.
So, TMD, in your opinion, what are the main challenges facing our businesses in terms of delivering our zero harm mission?
I think in the last one or two questions back, I think SS clearly indicated that we make marvels across the globe. And we are an organization today which is growing at a very phenomenal pace. We are one of the largest EPC players across the globe. We have a huge ambition to deliver in the next 5 years huge revenue turnovers across not only in India, but in Middle East, in many other countries. Now, what does it mean? It means that you're going to have a workforce which is going to be 60 to 70,000 people of staff, which is going to talk of a turnover of workers of three. Today we talk of 3 lakh 50. We now must be looking at 5 lakh workers. What does it mean? It means that we have a huge workforce. We have varied cultures of people coming in, and hence, and at the same time, today's environment doesn't means you don't get workers who stay on with you for very long. There's so much of churning happening, so much of real means we have to keep teaching them, keep pushing them to understand what do you mean by safety? How do you bring that perpetual culture of safety into people? And hence, that is one big task for us, that how do we keep this workforce which is coming in aware of what is required of them, how they cannot cut corners but do the work. Second thing is, with so much of growth within us, we taking so many people from outside, lateral as well as our own people. How do we bring a common safety culture? How do you make people aware that no work can get done unless you are safe at work site? So hence, not only doing this, and maybe also, to me, if we have to be doing that, we have to bring penalties and rewards also into the people. People should start understanding that for any giving up some action which is critical for the job, there could be a penalty. Then EHS is something which we have to be absolutely not, you cannot leave it out. So let us put it this way. Safety is something basic. We cannot take it as boring. We have to take it as a to-do attitude, that yes, safety is something which gets ingrained into us. And hence, this is something which is a big challenge in bringing that behavioral aspect into everybody, saying that please consider safety as the topmost priority in your job. Every job should start only if it is a safe and a perfectly right conditions to start the work. There is no compromise there. There's no shortcuts available. And hence, we will have to make everybody reflect, refocus, and relentlessly act to say that, yes, safety is the most critical thing. I will put it that way from my point of view.
Yeah, sir, please go
Yeah, I
ahead.
mean, just to add to what Mother said, I think if you have to deliver success, my philosophy has been that there are 4 dimensions which you need to address. And I say this very frequently. It is people, process, technology, and culture. So I think you need to have, address each of those. People means, of course, I think we spoke about it. It's very obvious that I think people are very core to our business, and we need to look after people, train them, develop them, etc., everything, and provide them the necessary skills. I'm not talking just about the staff, but also the entire 350, 400,000 people who are working for us, which by itself is a challenge. I mean, the scale by itself and the background from where they come from, mostly agricultural, skilled, unskilled people are coming from agricultural, etc., and they also have the value, the life, how you value life, it's also a societal thing. So sometimes people are taking unnecessary risk. The threshold is much lower. So I think we have to overcome all that challenge and bring them up to a level. So that's on the people side. So we need good processes. I mean, you have very well-trained people, but you also need to provide them good processes in terms of method statement, practices, SOPs, and all those things. I think we have done a great job. We have had a decade ago or two some very well-renowned international companies to help us put those systems in place. And every time we go through the incidents and review it, I think it is not that we are lack of having processes or procedures. So I think we are well developed in that respect. So the enforcement of that is where the challenge is, in my view. I think so. It's not lack of processes, but the enforcement. Technology is the third aspect, third dimension, where again, I think we'll talk about it more. Maybe Madhav maybe will add a little bit more later in terms of how we have moved forward in terms of bringing the latest technology in our business in general and also safety in particular. And the last one is the culture. I think everything what you want to do, you have to have the right culture, right mindset, positive attitude, can-do attitude, etc., etc. Never give up. I think our biggest challenge is the culture. In my view, I think you have to address the culture. You have to address the mindset because it all starts with that. If you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right culture, everything else you provide will not be used. I mean, that's as simple as that. I mean, you can have everything at your disposal, but if you don't have the willingness to use it, it is wasteful. So I think that is where my I mean, I'm talking about culture across the board, very much holistic way, culture within the organization, culture in the ecosystem, culture with the customers. I mean, the whole stakeholder. And I think we have to start with our home. I mean, let's get our culture right. I mean, before we start now saying that I want to change the world, but let's start and the good practices start at home. And let's start that, and then I'm sure that we'll be able to influence the other stakeholders also.
So the Indian jugaad, which people talk about when it comes to low cost innovation, is welcome, but not the Indian way of chalta hai, which
No,
is where
No, I think
correct.
what SS is making is the culture makes a lot of difference. Imagine in India, you cross a road at any point of place. You keep seeing such things happening, your mind takes a, what shall I say, a shortcut becomes a very way of life. That cannot happen in construction site. We have to take away that. And that is why he says culture, removing that from the people's mindset is more going to be the biggest challenge we have.
so, TMD, this question goes to you. What role does technology or can technology play in the improvement process in terms of AI, robotics?
I think, say, today, if you see the way we have looked at technology, we have brought in, I think we have brought many, I think technology and AI as well as many of those things we have started adopting in a different way. Like for example, the safety app which we have brought in, it has become a mandatory use. It starts giving people all the standard operating procedures. They can see what are the checklists to be done at a work spot so that they don't have to really keep looking for different data. It is available at a single point. But the most important is we have to start using it. See, you can only be providing people things with. People have to start using those apps clearly, start seriously looking at what is being told to do and how to do it. That is one part of it. The next is, I think, to make productivity as well as safety and repetitive items, which can see many times when we do repetitive, we think we have become experts and we start cutting corners or we start giving away things, and that brings in safety lapses. So to avoid such a things, I think we have brought in robotics at many places for welding, for rebars, everything, so that certain repetitive activities can take place very, very conveniently, and we can use our people for much more better items where we can use their productivity for better. So robotics is something we are looking at exoskeletons, and as a part of the lecture exercise, humanoids are being looked to see whether we can develop something for taking them into areas where we don't have, where it is difficult to reach. We have started using micro robotics sort of things to see whether in a pipeline, instead of trying sending cameras in to see whether there are any hindrances, so that we don't send people into areas where there are gases. So all these things have started using. We have started using ingraining chips. We have started doing geofencing so that people cannot enter into certain areas, or if they move out of certain critical areas, we come to know that there has been an infringement. So technology is being used in many, many ways. But how do we ensure that it gets propagated across all the sites? It becomes a part of your culture. That is something which we'll have to be pushing now. Because, and the best part is today we are bringing in more and more younger generation into this thing. They are very technology savvy. They're very comfortable with it. So they themselves will come out with a lot of ideas. We should be able to adapt it, use it for the betterment of the organization. So I'm really seeing that this is something which, as an organization which has a theme to bring about innovation and changes, this could be the real tipping point which can make safety something very different in this organization. And I'm very sure that with the effort that is going on at central level with our digital teams in each ICs, the AI team working, we will have something going great in the next few years. I'm very sure about it.
I think, Madhav, we are already, actually, we are already working. I mean, in addition to everything what you said, just for the sake of information, I think we are also looking at new technology in terms of intelligent helmet. I mean, I think this is a work happening now, led by our digital center, Mahesh, Chikodi, and organization, and all. They are working on that. We have some young entrepreneurs who have come up with this concept. We're studying it, we're buying those, and we're going to start piloting that in our projects, which will sort of like go one and a couple of notches in terms of how we use technology in sort of building a safe environment. The intelligent helmet will have like everything. I mean, it will have cameras. It will also guard people from doing something unsafe. It will also monitor health parameters, etc., etc. I mean, there's a whole lot of things in that, and there are many more. I think AR, VR application. But I think, see, I would say that it's not that technology has to be specifically for safety. I mean, if we use technology in everything what we do, because like the point Madhav made, the productivity, performance, and safety. In fact, I have a message like P2 square, P square 2, sorry, P square S. P square S is productivity, performance, two P's, and safety. They go together. This one block. Okay. So you can't say that I will have safety and I will not have productivity and performance, or I will have productivity and I will not have performance and safety. It doesn't go like that. They all go together. It's the biggest myth people have as a part of cultural barrier is if you have to do safety, that means it's going to cost me more time and more money. I mean, that was a very, very old fashioned concept. It has been destroyed or dismantled by the big international players and many, maybe 3 decades ago. That it doesn't, it's not like that. The safety, performance, productivity, they all go together. What does it mean? Good planning, good methods, good processes, good competency, and good tools, which could be part of the latest technology. If you put all this together, all three will come. Automatically it will come.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I'm hearing you, I'm just thinking that what a wonderful opportunity for such youngsters to also come in and also develop and work with the
Absolutely.
technology robotics team.
Absolutely. And I think what Mother said is that we come from a old school where we are using calculator and slide rules. I mean, that is how we grew up. So no matter how much we make effort, we still rely on youngster to help us on the technology side. But this is young people are already grew up in a very, very different environment. I mean, which is a great benefit to the organization and great opportunity for them to contribute in a very, very noble cause.
Okay, this question is to both of you, which is not everyone in our system follows the same standards as what is expected of us at the same time. And at the same time, we are also required to compete with them. How is it fair?
I mean, I think it's a, what do you call it? It's a perplexing situation for us. I mean, I think uh, what I would say, yeah, I mean, I think we have in the industry people. I mean, it's slightly different. I think let's differentiate between international and domestic. I think when you go to international, you are talking about sort of peer level competition with respect to everything. I mean, like the standards, the quality, the safety. I think that is not much of a difference. I think when it comes to domestic and market, yes, that's a challenge. I think we have to accept that, recognize that not everybody has sharing the same values. I mean, there are corporates who are fully aligned with our value. There are who are not, and then we are competing with each other. But see, I think my point is that we are an 8 decades institution. No, no, we are not an organization. We are an institution. We have led on, in terms of innovation, in terms of technology, in terms of first thing like tallest, longest, highest, and heaviest, and everything what we talk about, all these things, we have been the leaders. Okay. So why can't we be the leaders also in safety? And we can be the catalyst or the change that will make the whole country change and the whole industry change. How beautiful it will be. That's the way I look at
Sumit, just let me add. If you have been seeing, see, safety used to be something which used to be just talked about. But in the last few years, if you have been seeing, especially as you said, international is a very different ball game. Where there the whole standards are very clear to everybody. What is the expectation is clear. Whereas when you come to domestic market, yes, there is a lot of gap in it. And if you've really been seeing the last few years, safety has started becoming critical. You start seeing a lot of coverage in the press, a lot of negative news coming across for an organization. And hence, it for if you see from an organization point like Larsen and Toubro, which is setting up benchmarks in all the areas we work, we have to really set a benchmark in safety also. So we are not looking at the outsiders. We are looking at our own track record, our own past track record. What is it that we should set? We should use this mission zero harm to say that we are an organization which has clear goals. We want to create an organization which will be seen across the globe, saying that here is an organization which believes in it and ensures that it happens. And hence, for me, there is nothing called looking at the competition or looking at a customer base. We have to set our own standards. And if a customer doesn't believe in it, I think we should leave such customers away. We should look for customers who believe in what we are setting as standards for people's safety. And hence, I think what others do doesn't matter. What we will do, what we will set for the world, how we will do it, and how we will become a leader in this, whatever we do. Today, we are not leaders in safety. If we say we do the tallest, the biggest, everything, we should also be, our team should feel proud and say, yes, we are the organization which will be having the best and the safest culture. We should also make that as our motto. And hence, there is no competition or way the landscape is happening. For me, we are the competition ourselves. Our mind is our competition. We have to erase it out and become different.
So, SS, do you think we need to relook at the EHS structure to drive this change?
Like I said, yeah, I mean, see, there are many elements which sort of build this whole ecosystem. And I think for me, the most important is that the mindset of the individual. I mean, it starts with yourself, like how you want to approach safety and how you influence others, etc., etc. So yeah, structure is important, but just the structure is not going to help in driving safety. It has to be, like I said. Very strong commitment and the mindset and the cultural behavior and the commitment from the leadership, etc. Having said that, I think just like P&L, I mean profit and loss also, the structure enables certain behavior, certain performance, certain amount of independence, certain amount of empowerment, the like the kind of words we use like speak up, ability to speak up, ability to stop things when they are going wrong. People need certain amount of authority and empowerment. So there, then the structure becomes important. So there is a willingness, but if they are not armed with that authority, then they may not be able to effectively do what they want to do. Yeah. So I think from that point of view, structure becomes important. So we are looking at it. I think part of this Lakshya 31 pre discussions, we recognize that if we have to grow now and multifold, the safety has to grow along with it. I mean, good safety performance has to grow along with it. And we need to recognize that. And therefore, we are looking at now having a group EHS head. So we don't have that position now. We are having EHS head in individual ICs, but we don't have a group EHS. Like we have a group legal, we have group finance, we don't have a group EHS head. So we are going to have a group EHS head. And we're sort of like almost shortlisted a candidate who should come on board by September. And once the position gets filled, then we'll definitely relook at the whole EHS organization, and we will create something similar to what we have in internal audit or we have in the finance function. They will, of course, work very closely with the businesses, but we will provide them a little bit of teeth and independence through that structure. So that's the plan. So I think we'll be still discussing this, how to go about doing it, but I think we'll have that plan ready. But definitely there will be some changes with respect to how we have set up the EHS organization. On top of it, we are also doing now, I think we had announced it and I saw it in the chairman's message also. He has also mentioned about the serious incident review committee. He himself is part of it. When Madhav and myself, RSR, we kind of spent good amount of time in reviewing all the incidents. And so this is now getting investigated and addressed at the very highest level to understand what is the root cause of all those serious incidents, why it is happening. Of course, one is, of course, a little bit of like, people have to come and explain. I mean, that itself is an embarrassment. So it brings a little bit of shame aspect of it. But more than that, we also want to know hands-on, I mean, from on the first level, what is going wrong so that we can fix it. So I think the intention here is to fix it and change it and support our leaders and organization to help them better perform better on safety. That
Um,
is already in place.
yeah. TMD, this question goes to you. The safety professionals need to be technically sound, no doubt, but they should also have sound interpersonal skills to influence and foster a safety culture. Any efforts by the company in this aspect?
Uh, Sumit, I think if you had read our chairman's message, it was very clear that we are an organization which has spread across the globe. We have 800 plus sites nearly working. Just imagine you have 800 companies working across the organization, because each of these sites are independently delivering it. They have a clear goal, they have procedures in place, they have a set of people who come, varied set of people coming into one place, and hence the dynamics to be managed is very, very important. And hence this EHS person, whoever is going, he along with the project head or the project manager, the construction manager, I think have to be little sensitive that it is not just enforcement of procedures or anything. It is taking people along. And hence it requires a little, yes, it requires a little social skill of influencing people, taking them along. And hence it requires them to be very, very, I will not say the word extrovert. They require to be interacting. They have to be constantly understanding what is the issues at site and collectively look at a solution. So that requires them a little different skill set, not only technical, because technical brings them the respect, saying that yes, here is the person who knows what this job is to be done. So that brings them to a certain level. But what can really influence is how they put it across, how they make it happen, how they interact with people and give them the feel that we are here to support you more than trying to audit you. Once you give that feeling we are here to support you, the whole game changes, because then you become, both the parties become together in it. They are collectively doing something. Yes. So this requires a little change of, what shall I say, behavioral aspects. So for that, we are conducting programs. But this also, it is not only the function of EHS people, it is also the function of the whole site, that they have to be receptive to these ideas. And hence, they also require to understand that the safety person here is to help them. It's not to bring the stoppage to work, but to make the work go in a smoother way. So it requires a cultural change across the organization, that it requires a lot of interaction, a lot of collaborative efforts, a lot of understanding, and a lot of dialogues and discussions, and come to an agreement. I will put it that way, and the company is looking at it. So there are too many communication skill courses going on. There are small workshops happening where we try to bring this about. We try to bring behavioral experts to bring this change in people. All this is happening. I'll put it that way.
I mean, the dialogue we are having today is also a part of that influencing people, right? I mean, I think last week when we addressed the fresh set of graduate engineers, I think one of my messages to them was that learn the soft skill to influence people. Because, as you grow up, I mean, if you want to be a successful leader, your ability to influence people in every facet of life, whether it's professional or personal, it becomes very, very important. Because at the end of the day, we are dealing with people. We are not dealing with robots that you write a code or you write a program, you influence, you've done your job. It doesn't work like that. We are dealing with emotions. We are dealing with human beings, and that will continue to be the case. I mean, no matter how much AI advances, robots advance, we'll continue to deal with people and continue. And if you're dealing with people, means your ability to influence people becomes paramount importance. And I think, and particularly when you are having workforce who are coming from a very different background, please understand that they are not doing these things because they don't want to do it. For sometimes they are not understood the risk of doing certain things. They are not aware of the consequences. They are not aware of if you don't do this, because they are grown ups watching, different things, right? I mean, like the other day, I mean, like you look around the window and outside the window, and you see the workers still working on this real estate industry. I mean, they are working in crazy heights with no harness, nothing. I mean, they just a belief that somebody will take care of my life. I just have to go about doing my job. They are not understanding that a small, simple mistake can lead to a loss of their life. And and misery for their families. I mean, they don't understand that. What it takes is like maybe 5 minutes of conversation with them, trying to take them through the whole process, that how it can help, how they can de-risk it, how their families can be protected, how their everything around them can be protected and changed. I think that conversation and that ability to influence requires some skills, and I think and we'll have to work on that. And I think most important thing is taking the ownership and recognizing that you have the ability to influence, and that's the starting point.
Do we have any plans to reinforce the safety culture amongst our ecosystem partners, subcontractors, suppliers, beyond beyond the jobs or the factory?
Absolutely. I think it has to happen because we can't become the leaders in the industry if you don't take everyone who works for us, our partners, subcontractors, suppliers along with us. I mean, they have to become very much part of that ecosystem because see, technically there is maybe 10-15% of the things we do ourselves. 80-85% still gets done by others, right? I mean they come under our management, but it is not that everything we are doing. So if we have to be the leaders, everyone has to contribute to that, and there is huge amount of effort to be made in aligning them, in increasing their awareness, making them share the same values. And we'll have to look at the structure. In fact, we spoke about this in the EHS Council many times, multiple times. How do we go about screening our partners and subcontractors, and do they share the same value? How do we build the commercial structure, organizational structure, which aligns with our goals and objectives for EHS, even rewards and incentives related to that. I mean, whole lot of things will have to be done. I mean, it's not going to come that easily, like I'm going to do it, you have to follow. No, it's not going to happen. I think that influencing capability we spoke about will also apply at the organization level to influence those partners. And I'm quite sure, I think people will see value in it. I mean, I don't see this as a difficult task. It will require some efforts, but people will align. And between you and me, I think here we are all the conversation around this safety is on the basis that we have a choice. Okay, we think that we have a choice. We do it, or if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Trust me, we don't have a choice. I mean, it is the risk of business continuity. I mean, I will go to that extent that if we don't address this, our existence can be a challenge. So it's not a choice anymore. We have to do it. And we have to do it within ourselves. We have to do it at the organization level. And we have to take everyone who is working for us along with us and make sure that we set a very high standard for safety.
Do we have a safety helpline or something where people can report
Yeah, I
instances?
mean, I'm not sure whether we have a kind of a helpline, but I think the every site, every project level, there is a mechanism where people can report, and everybody is encouraged to speak up. Everybody is empowered to report and stop even sometimes, because I mean even today SNS message is very clear that is that first if you see something you want to just ignore it, then you're not going to change, right? You cannot just choose to ignore. You have to stop. You have to stop. If you are not able to stop, escalate. I mean, that's what he has written.
Yeah.
You can go all the way. I mean, you can come all the way up to the CMD level. I mean, nobody is going to object to that. So I think that mechanism exists, but I don't know. I mean, it's a good thought you have put now in my mind. We'll have to debate whether we should have a helpline for that, but we'll talk about it later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sumit, just to add a few things to what SS said. See, today we have two sets of people working with us. One is you have established suppliers and contractors who are pretty big and who understands the implication of safety. At the same time, we have a lot of SMEs who are very small in nature, who means we will have to handhold them and develop their culture. So that is where organizations like us take that heavy activity to push this across the organization, because you're dealing with small players who sometimes don't understand the significance that if they also have to grow big, they have to go to the next level, that their whole standards of safety, everything have to change. So there is one hand holding there. The most critical is this workers which come from this thing. I think that one way of influencing them is, I think, which now the organization under the guidance of our chairman has started going into the villages, taking up CSR activities. We can use this as a very important tool to make the family is aware that your husband or your brother or your whoever is working there has to do his work safely. He has to come back safe. I think that way, if you start putting pressure from here, also saying that do your work properly, do it safely, yeah, we will bring about a change. So it requires different dimensions, as you said, which is happening. But this will also become one way of propagating the message. So when you influence the family will influence them, saying that don't do any shortcuts, do it properly, do it the way you want. If you think it is not happening, stop the work, come out of it. So they will start feeling, and maybe, and if we can have a continuity of these labors working with us, productivity, the safety culture will start propagating, and we'll have a different culture setting in the organization.
So, once again, I mean, there's the final word. What's the message to the audience and the staff members, both of you?
I will
Madhav,
just
you want to go for it? Yeah,
yeah, no,
go
no,
for it.
before you end, I will just make it. I think I like the message what our DMD and SS sent today. Just live to the pledge. Means I think it's such a profound statement he has made with that simple message, saying that if you take a pledge starting with I, live up to that pledge. Means you have to start introspecting and say that if I'm taking a pledge, am I giving a commitment that I will do something? I think that is the most important message for me. And the next most important is we have hundreds of standards operating procedures across the organization. Each of our staff should read it properly, not assume that it is there for as a decorative piece. Read it, understand it, implement it. And it starts with me. Each one of us should introspect and say that I will propagate safety and quality at my side. If it is done, everything will happen the right way, the right time, and it will happen only once, and it will happen for the good. So take upon each one upon ourselves to say that I will live by the pledge which this organization has listed out for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will go a little bit more philosophical. I mean, anyway, I said that live up to your safety pledge. Thanks, Madhav, for endorsing that. Uh, but the way I see it is that you know the every one of us have to believe in our ability and capability to influence and bring about a great safety culture. I mean, I think that conviction, that belief that every one of us can contribute, and every individual who is listening or who is not listening or who is going to listen is working for us, have to believe that they can make a difference. They can make a difference for themselves, they can make a difference for their colleagues, for the organization and the community. I mean, the whole lot of it. And I think how beautiful that opportunity is. I mean, like, where will you get such opportunity to make such a profound impact in your work environment and in the society you live in, for something which will save millions of lives and families. I mean, when you look at it, when a life is lost, I mean, the person who's gone is gone, yeah, but the families you leave behind, they have misery. I mean, there are small children, and most of the people who come to work for us, they are very young, and they have very young family. I mean, imagine that the whole family is orphaned, the breadwinner is gone, and they are living through their entire life in misery. I mean, you can change that. It's in your hand. And I think my appeal to every one of them is simple. Again, like I said, you have the ability to change. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you. You take the lead. You make that first step and start making the change. And I think, and live up to your pledge. And I think we will have a great um, uh, life ahead of us, all of us. That will be my closing remark. I think thank you, Sumit, for what should I say, comparing this or anchoring this. And you came up with some very lovely questions, which I think has a 360 degree coverage of on all the aspects. And I also, of course, thank Madhav for joining me. I think we wanted to do this. I think this was a thought that instead of sending just messages, let's have a dialogue. And thank you for time. And I think I'll thank myself also for so
Thank you.
taking up
Thank you.
this. I'm very passionate about it, and I think we want to make a change. I think the coming months and coming weeks, coming days should make a huge difference to how we approach safety. And that will make us all proud, make our chairman proud, make us all proud, and make the organization proud.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, both of you. SS
Thank you
and
very
team.
much. I think
Thank
it
you.
was a pleasure to talk to all of them. And it was a great opportunity to put our views across.
And
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm sincerely hoping we have more participants the next time. We are
Yeah, I think maybe
2,400.
maybe we did not sort of
Push it.
advertise it or announce it in a big way. So, but nevertheless, I think like you said, take a recording and play it again. I think even if you have influence, for me, I think even if 10 people are influenced, that's a great success, honestly, because
If you have,
those 10 will those
yes,
10 will influence another 10, and then the machinery will start.
yes.
So worth it.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you to all.
Thank you very
the
much.
audience.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.